stop. This sign gives a clear and absolute instruction that you must bring your vehicle to a complete stop at the stop line or before the junction, even if the road appears empty. After stopping, you must carefully check in all directions for approaching vehicles, cyclists, and pedestrians. You should only move off when it is completely safe to do so, and when your movement will not cause other road users to slow down, stop, or change direction. Rolling stops are not acceptable here. Give way/yield. This sign means you must give priority to traffic on the main road. As you approach, reduce your speed and assess the traffic situation. If the road is clear, you may continue without stopping, but you must always be prepared to stop if necessary. You must not force your way into traffic or cause other drivers to brake or swerve. Pay attention to pedestrians and cyclists as well. No entry. This sign indicates that entry is strictly prohibited for all vehicles from your direction. It is commonly used to prevent vehicles from entering one-way streets in the wrong direction or restricted zones. You must not pass this sign under any circumstances, even for a short distance, unless specifically exempted, for example by additional signs. One-way traffic. This sign informs you that the road operates in only one direction of travel. You must drive in the direction indicated by the sign and follow all lane markings. Be aware that traffic will not be coming toward you, but you must still remain cautious at junctions and crossings. Zebra crossing. This sign warns you of a pedestrian crossing marked by black and white stripes on the road. As you approach, you must slow down and be prepared to stop. If pedestrians are waiting at the crossing or have already stepped onto it, you must stop and allow them to cross safely. Do not overtake other vehicles near the crossing, as they may have stopped for pedestrians. Pedestrians ahead. This is a warning sign indicating that pedestrians are likely to be crossing the road ahead. You should reduce your speed, increase your level of observation, and be ready to stop quickly. Pay special attention in areas with limited visibility or heavy foot traffic. Children going to or from school. This sign indicates that you are entering an area where children are likely to be present, especially during school start and finish times. Children may behave unpredictably, so you must slow down significantly, stay alert, and be ready to stop at any moment. Extra caution is essential. Roundabout. This sign warns that you are approaching a roundabout. You must slow down on approach, observe traffic from the right, and give way to any vehicles already on the roundabout. Enter only when there is a safe gap. Use the correct lane depending on your exit and signal appropriately when leaving. Mini roundabout. This sign indicates a smaller roundabout, often found in urban areas. The same rules apply as a normal roundabout. You must give way to traffic coming from the right. You should pass around the central marking unless your vehicle is too large to do so safely. Keep left. This sign instructs you to keep to the left side of the road or an obstruction, such as a traffic island. You must not pass on the right unless directed otherwise. It helps maintain safe traffic flow and prevents head-on conflicts. Turn left ahead. This sign gives a mandatory instruction that you must turn left at the next junction. As you approach, signal early, reduce speed, and position your vehicle correctly in the left lane. Ensure the road is clear of pedestrians and cyclists before completing the turn. Turn right ahead. This sign means you must turn right at the upcoming junction. You should prepare in advance by signalling, moving into the correct lane, and slowing down. Always check for oncoming traffic and pedestrians before turning. No right turn. This sign clearly indicates that turning right is prohibited at the junction ahead. You must continue straight or follow an alternative permitted route. Attempting to turn right here could cause danger or disrupt traffic flow. No left turn. This sign means that turning left is not allowed at the junction ahead. You must continue in another direction, as indicated by road markings or other signs. No U-turns. This sign prohibits making a U-turn, meaning you cannot turn your vehicle around to go in the opposite direction. You must continue forward and find a safe and legal place to turn around if needed. No waiting. This sign indicates that you are not allowed to park or wait in this area during specified times. However, you may usually stop briefly to pick up or drop off passengers unless additional restrictions like no stopping apply. Always check nearby signs or road markings for exact rules. No stopping. This sign means you must not stop your vehicle at any time, even for a short period. This includes picking up or dropping off passengers. It is typically used in high-risk or high-traffic areas where stopping would cause danger or obstruction. Maximum speed limit. This sign shows the maximum legal speed you are allowed to travel. You must never exceed this limit. However, you should also adjust your speed according to road, traffic, and weather conditions, even if that means driving below the limit. Minimum speed limit. This sign indicates the minimum speed you are expected to maintain under normal conditions. It helps keep traffic flowing smoothly. If conditions such as congestion or bad weather make it unsafe, you may drive below this speed. National speed limit applies. This sign indicates that the national speed limits are in force. These vary depending on the type of road and vehicle. You are expected to know these limits and adjust your speed accordingly, while also considering road and weather conditions. Speed camera. This sign warns that speed cameras are in operation in this area, monitoring vehicle speeds. You must ensure you are strictly within the speed limit, as exceeding it may result in fines or penalties. Do not slow down suddenly just for the camera. Maintain a consistent, safe speed at all times. Roadworks. This sign indicates that roadworks or temporary construction activities are taking place ahead. You should reduce your speed immediately. Watch for workers, temporary barriers, cones, and altered road layouts. Follow any temporary traffic lights or signs and be prepared for sudden stops or lane changes. Slippery road. This warns that the road surface may be slippery due to water, ice, oil, or loose material. You must slow down, avoid harsh braking, accelerate gently, and steer smoothly to maintain control of your vehicle. Increase your following distance from the vehicle ahead. Uneven road. This sign indicates that the road surface ahead is irregular, bumpy, or damaged. You should reduce speed to avoid losing control or damaging your vehicle, and maintain a firm grip on the steering wheel. Be prepared for sudden jolts. Hump bridge. This warns of a steep, curved bridge where visibility is limited at the top. You must slow down significantly, keep to your side of the road, and be prepared for oncoming traffic that may not be visible until the last moment. Traffic queues likely ahead. This sign warns that traffic congestion or queues are likely ahead, often due to junctions, roadworks, or high traffic volume. You should reduce speed, increase your following distance, and be prepared to stop suddenly. Stay alert to brake lights ahead. Crossroads. This indicates a junction where two roads cross each other. You must approach with caution, be prepared to give way depending on road markings or signals, and watch carefully for traffic coming from all directions. T-junction. This sign shows that your road will end at a junction with another road, forming a T-shape. You must slow down and give way to traffic on the main road before joining or crossing. Side road left. This sign warns that a side road joins from the left. You should stay alert for vehicles emerging from that road and be prepared to adjust your speed or position if necessary. Side road right. This indicates a side road joining from the right. You must watch for vehicles entering or crossing your path and be ready to react safely. Staggered junction. This sign shows that there are two junctions close together but not directly opposite each other. You must treat each junction separately, slowing down and checking carefully for traffic at both points before proceeding. Traffic merges from the left. This sign indicates that vehicles will be joining your lane from the left. You should anticipate merging traffic, adjust your speed if needed, and allow space for vehicles to join safely. Traffic merges from the right. This warns that traffic will be joining from the right. You must stay alert, maintain a safe speed, and be prepared to give space to merging vehicles. Traffic merges onto the main carriageway. This sign means that you are approaching a point where traffic is joining a main road. If you are merging, you must match your speed to the traffic flow and join safely without forcing other vehicles to slow down. If already on the main road, be aware of merging vehicles. Road narrows on both sides. This sign indicates that the road ahead will become narrower on both sides, reducing available space. You must slow down and be prepared to give way to oncoming traffic if necessary, especially on tight sections. Road narrows on right. This warns that the right side of the road is narrowing. You should adjust your position slightly to the left while maintaining awareness of other vehicles. Road narrows on left. This indicates that the left side of the road is narrowing. You should adjust your position carefully toward the right, while staying within your lane and avoiding oncoming traffic. End of dual carriageway. This sign shows that the road will change from a dual carriageway to a single carriageway, meaning traffic will flow in both directions on one road. You must reduce speed and prepare for oncoming traffic ahead. Two-way traffic crosses one-way road. This sign warns that traffic from both directions will cross your one-way road ahead. You must slow down, check both directions carefully, and be prepared to stop if necessary. Two-way traffic straight ahead. This indicates that the road ahead changes from one-way to two-way traffic. You must stay in your lane, reduce speed, and be alert for oncoming vehicles. Bend to right. This sign warns that the road ahead curves sharply to the right. You must reduce your speed before reaching the bend. Position your vehicle correctly within your lane and avoid sudden braking or steering while turning. Be alert for oncoming traffic that may drift across the centre line. Bend to left. This indicates a sharp bend to the left ahead. You should slow down early, maintain control of your steering, and stay within your lane. Watch out for hazards such as oncoming vehicles or reduced visibility. Double bend first to the left. This warns of two consecutive bends, with the first turning to the left, followed by another bend, usually to the right. You must reduce speed significantly, as the second bend may come quickly after the first. Maintain careful control throughout both bends. Double bend first to the right. This sign indicates two bends ahead, starting with a right turn followed by a left. You should slow down well in advance and remain cautious throughout both bends, as visibility and road alignment may change quickly. Junction on a bend. This sign warns that there is a junction located on or near a bend where visibility is limited. You must slow down, stay alert, and be prepared for vehicles entering or crossing your path unexpectedly. Steep ascent. This indicates a steep uphill gradient ahead. You may need to change to a lower gear to maintain power and control, especially in heavy vehicles. Be aware that slower vehicles may struggle on the incline. Steep descent. This warns of a steep downhill slope ahead. You must reduce speed before descending, use engine braking, lower gears, and avoid continuous heavy braking to prevent loss of control. Tunnel. This sign indicates that you are approaching a tunnel. Before entering, you should switch on your headlights, remove sunglasses if visibility is reduced, maintain a safe distance, and avoid stopping unless necessary. Side winds. This warns that the area is prone to strong crosswinds, especially on exposed roads or bridges. You must hold the steering wheel firmly, reduce speed, and be prepared for sudden gusts that may push your vehicle sideways, particularly if driving a high-sided vehicle. Falling rocks. This sign indicates a risk of rocks or debris falling onto the road, usually in hilly or mountainous areas. You should slow down, stay alert, and avoid stopping unnecessarily in the danger zone. Slow-moving vehicles. This warns that slow-moving vehicles such as tractors or heavy machinery may be on the road. You should reduce speed, be patient, and only overtake when it is safe and legal to do so. Tramway. This indicates that tram tracks cross or run alongside the road. You must be cautious of trams, which cannot swerve, and avoid driving or stopping on the tracks unless necessary. Fire station ahead. This sign warns that you are approaching a fire station and emergency vehicles may enter the road suddenly. You must be prepared to slow down or stop and give way immediately to emergency vehicles responding to calls. Traffic signals ahead. This warns that traffic lights are coming up ahead. You should reduce speed and be prepared to stop if the lights change to red. Part-time traffic signals. This indicates that traffic lights operate only at certain times. You must be prepared for both situations, either following signals when active or giving way according to normal road rules when they are not operating. Opening or swing bridge. This sign warns of a bridge that may open to allow boats to pass. You must be prepared to stop when signals or barriers are activated and never attempt to cross when the bridge is opening or open. Riverbank or quayside. This warns that the road runs alongside a river or water edge without barriers. You must drive carefully, reduce speed, and maintain full control to avoid veering off the road. Water alongside road. This indicates that water runs close to the road, such as a canal or river. You should drive with caution, especially in poor weather or low visibility. Soft verges. This warns that the edges of the road may be soft and unstable, especially after rain. You should avoid driving onto the verge as your vehicle could sink or lose control. Low-flying aircraft. This sign indicates that aircraft may fly at low altitude overhead, usually near airports. The noise may be sudden and distracting, so you must stay focused on the road and maintain control of your vehicle. Low-flying helicopters. This sign warns that helicopters may operate at very low altitudes nearby, often near hospitals or emergency zones. The noise and wind from helicopters can be sudden and distracting. You must stay focused, maintain control of your vehicle, and avoid sudden reactions. Ice or snowdrifts. This indicates that the road may be affected by ice, compacted snow or drifting snow, especially in cold or exposed areas. You must reduce speed significantly, increase following distance, avoid sharp braking, and drive smoothly to prevent skidding. Frail pedestrians. This sign warns that elderly or physically vulnerable pedestrians may be crossing or walking nearby. You must drive slowly, be patient, and be prepared to stop quickly, as these pedestrians may move slowly or unpredictably. Traffic has priority over vehicles coming from the opposite direction. This sign indicates that you have priority over oncoming traffic, usually where the road narrows. However, you must still proceed carefully, ensure the path is clear, and be prepared to stop if necessary, as other drivers may not always give way correctly. Priority must be given to vehicles from the opposite direction. This sign means you must give way to oncoming traffic, often where the road narrows or there is an obstruction. You should slow down, stop if necessary, and allow opposing vehicles to pass before proceeding. Pass either side to reach the same destination. This sign indicates that you may pass an obstruction on either the left or right side, and both routes will lead to the same destination. You should choose the safest and most convenient side based on traffic conditions. No through road. This sign means the road is a dead end and does not lead to another exit. You may enter for access, for example to properties, but you must be prepared to turn around and exit the same way. Loose chippings. This warns that the road surface has loose stones or gravel, which can reduce grip and may be thrown up by tyres. You must slow down, avoid sudden braking, and keep a safe distance from other vehicles to prevent damage. Height restriction. This sign shows the maximum vehicle height allowed on the road ahead, usually due to low bridges or structures. If your vehicle exceeds this height, you must not proceed and find an alternative route. Width restriction indicates a maximum vehicle width allowed, often due to narrow roads or barriers. You must ensure your vehicle fits safely before proceeding. If not, you must use another route. Weight restriction. This sign shows the maximum permitted weight for vehicles, usually to protect bridges or road surfaces. You must not enter if your vehicle exceeds the stated weight limit. Goods vehicles prohibited. This sign means that goods vehicles, trucks, lorries, are not allowed beyond this point. If you are driving such a vehicle, you must not proceed and follow an alternative route. Motor vehicles prohibited. This sign indicates that all motor vehicles are not allowed on this road. Only non-motorised users, such as pedestrians or cyclists, may be permitted. You must not enter if driving a motor vehicle. Dip. This sign warns of a sudden dip or low point in the road, which may collect water or reduce visibility. You must slow down to maintain control and avoid potential hazards such as flooding or reduced traction. Clearance warning. This indicates a height restriction ahead, often before a bridge or tunnel. It gives advance notice so you can check your vehicle height and avoid getting stuck by taking an alternative route if necessary. Motor vehicles except motorcycles prohibited. This sign means that all motor vehicles are prohibited except motorcycles. If you are driving a car, van or truck, you must not proceed. Cycles prohibited. This sign indicates that bicycles are not allowed on this road. If you are cycling, you must not enter and find another route. Pedestrians prohibited. This sign means that pedestrians are not allowed to walk on this road, usually for safety reasons. Drivers should still remain alert, but pedestrians must use an alternative route. Horse-drawn vehicles prohibited. This sign indicates that horse-drawn vehicles are not permitted. If operating such a vehicle, you must not proceed beyond this point. Towed caravans prohibited. This sign means that vehicles towing caravans are not allowed on this road, often due to narrow or unsuitable conditions. Drivers towing caravans must find an alternative route. Articulated vehicles prohibited. This sign means that articulated vehicles, large lorries with trailers, are not allowed beyond this point. usually due to tight turns or narrow roads. If you are driving such a vehicle, you must not proceed and find an alternative route. Controlled parking zone. This sign indicates entry into a controlled parking zone, CPZ, where parking and waiting restrictions apply across a wider area. You must check nearby signs for specific times and conditions, as restrictions may not be marked on every street. End of controlled zone. This sign shows that you are leaving a controlled parking zone, and the special parking restrictions within that zone no longer apply. Normal parking rules and local signs will now apply. Disabled parking. This sign indicates that the parking space is reserved for disabled badge holders only. You must not park here unless you are entitled and displaying a valid disabled badge. Parking place. This sign shows a designated area where parking is permitted. You must follow any additional conditions shown, such as time limits, payment requirements, or vehicle type restrictions. Vehicles may be parked partially on the verge. This sign indicates that vehicles are allowed to park with part of the vehicle on the verge or footway. You must ensure that you do not obstruct pedestrians or cause danger, especially for wheelchair users or pushchairs. Vehicles may be parked wholly on the verge. This sign allows vehicles to park completely on the verge or footway. You should still park carefully to avoid blocking pedestrian access or damaging the surface. End of an area where vehicles may be parked partially on the verge or footway. This sign indicates that the permission to park on the verge or footway ends here. From this point onward, you must park fully on the carriageway unless otherwise permitted. With flow cycle lane, this sign marks a cycle lane that runs in the same direction as traffic flow. You must not drive or park in the cycle lane during its hours of operation, and always watch for cyclists when turning or crossing it. Contraflow bus lane, which pedal cycles. This indicates a bus lane that runs in the opposite direction to normal traffic flow and may also be used by cyclists. You must not enter or drive in this lane unless permitted, and be cautious of oncoming buses or cyclists. Shared route for pedal cycles and pedestrians only. This sign shows a route reserved for both cyclists and pedestrians, with no motor vehicles allowed. As a driver, you must not enter this route. Cyclists and pedestrians should share the space carefully. Contraflow bus lane. This indicates a bus lane operating in the opposite direction to general traffic. You must not enter this lane unless signs indicate you are permitted to do so. Stay alert for vehicles moving against the usual traffic flow. Tram-only route. This sign indicates that the route is reserved exclusively for trams. All other vehicles must not enter, as trams have fixed tracks and cannot deviate. Route for use by buses and tram cars only. This sign shows that the road is restricted to buses and tram cars only. Other vehicles must not use this route unless specifically allowed. Level crossing with gate. This sign warns of a railway crossing ahead that is controlled by gates or barriers. You must slow down, obey signals, and stop when barriers are down or lights are flashing. Never attempt to cross when it is unsafe. Level crossing without gate. This indicates a railway crossing without barriers. You must approach with extreme caution, look and listen for trains, and only cross when you are sure it is safe. Electrified overhead cable. This sign warns of overhead electrical cables, often at railway crossings. You must avoid stopping under the cables and ensure tall vehicles do not come into contact with them. Risk of grounding. This indicates a risk that low-clearance vehicles may scrape or get stuck on the road surface, often at humps or crossings. you should slow down and assess whether your vehicle can pass safely. Countdown marker to level crossing. These markers indicate the distance remaining to a level crossing, usually in stages, for example 3, 2, 1 bars. You should prepare to slow down and stop if required as you approach the crossing. Crossbuck. This is a distinctive sign marking a railway level crossing. It reinforces the presence of a crossing and means you must be alert, look both ways, and give priority to trains. Additional traffic lane joining from the left ahead. This sign indicates that an extra lane will join your road from the left. You should maintain your lane, be aware of merging vehicles, and adjust speed if necessary to allow safe integration of traffic. Leave motorway at next exit. This sign informs you that your designated route requires you to leave the motorway at the next exit. You should move into the correct lane in good time, signal early, and follow the exit safely without sudden lane changes. Motorway junction ahead. This sign indicates that a motorway junction is approaching. You should prepare for vehicles joining or leaving the motorway, stay alert, and position your vehicle correctly depending on your intended route. Direction to a motorway at the junction. This sign provides directions leading to a motorway from the upcoming junction. You should follow the indicated route and position your vehicle early to avoid last-minute lane changes. Entrance to a motorway service area. This sign indicates the entrance to a service area where facilities such as fuel, food, and rest are available. If you intend to stop, signal in advance and slow down safely to enter. Start of motorway regulations. This sign marks the beginning of motorway rules. You must follow motorway regulations such as minimum speed requirements, restrictions on certain vehicles, for example, pedestrians, cyclists, and proper lane discipline. End of motorway regulations. This sign indicates that motorway rules no longer apply. You are entering a different type of road, so you must adjust your driving to suit new speed limits and conditions. Temporary speed advised. This sign shows a recommended safe speed for temporary conditions, such as roadworks or hazards. It is not legally enforced, but you should follow it for safety reasons. End of temporary restrictions. This sign indicates that temporary road restrictions, such as reduced speed limits or lane closures, have ended. You may resume normal driving conditions while still observing permanent signs. Lane 2 is closed ahead. This sign warns that Lane 2 will be closed further ahead. You should merge safely into an open lane in good time, avoiding last-minute lane changes. Lane 2 and 3 closed ahead. This indicates that 2 lanes, 2 and 3, will be closed ahead. You must plan early, reduce speed if necessary, and merge into the remaining open lanes smoothly. Lane 1 closed. Use lanes 2, 3 and 4. This sign shows that Lane 1, usually the left lane, is closed, and traffic must use the remaining lanes. You should move out of the closed lane early and continue safely in the open lanes. Both lanes closed. This sign indicates that both lanes on the current carriageway are closed ahead. You must follow diversion signs or instructions to move onto an alternative route or carriageway. All 3 lanes closed. This warns that all 3 lanes will be closed ahead. You must prepare to leave the carriageway or follow diversion routes immediately. All 4 lanes closed. This indicates a complete closure of all 4 lanes ahead. You must follow diversion signs and not proceed further on this road. Change of carriageway ahead. This sign indicates that traffic will be diverted from one carriageway to another, often due to roadworks. You should follow signs carefully, reduce speed, and stay within marked lanes. Distance to roundabout, 300 yards. This sign provides advance information about the distance to an upcoming roundabout. You should begin preparing early by adjusting speed and positioning your vehicle correctly. Tourist information. This sign indicates the presence of tourist information facilities or attractions nearby. Drivers may follow additional signs for directions if they wish to visit. A solid circle emergency diversion route marker. This symbol marks a specific emergency diversion route identified by a solid circle. In case of road closure, you should follow this symbol on signs to stay on the correct diversion route. A solid triangle emergency diversion route marker. This indicates another designated emergency diversion route, marked by a solid triangle. You must follow this symbol consistently if directed onto that diversion. A hollow square emergency diversion route marker. This sign represents a different emergency diversion route, marked by a hollow square. Follow it carefully to navigate around closures. Emergency diversion route for motorway and other main road traffic. This sign indicates that an official diversion route is in place for motorway or major road traffic. You must follow the marked symbols and directions to safely bypass closures and rejoin your route later. Lanes bend ahead. This sign indicates that the lanes ahead will shift or curve sideways, often due to roadworks or changes in road layout. You must stay within your lane markings, reduce speed, and follow the new alignment carefully to avoid drifting into another lane. Wigwag signal. These are flashing amber lights used at pedestrian crossings, especially near schools or level crossings. When the lights flash, you must slow down and be prepared to stop immediately, as pedestrians or trains may be crossing. Agricultural vehicles. This sign warns that slow-moving agricultural vehicles, such as tractors, may be on or crossing the road. You must reduce speed, remain patient, and only overtake when it is completely safe and legal. Cattle. This sign indicates that cattle may be crossing or present on the road. You must slow down significantly, be prepared to stop, and avoid sounding your horn aggressively, as it may startle the animals. Sheep. This warns that sheep may be on or crossing the road, often in rural areas. You must reduce speed, drive carefully through the area, and be ready to stop if animals are present. Wild animals. This sign indicates a risk of wild animals crossing the road unexpectedly. You must slow down, stay alert, especially at night, and be prepared to stop suddenly. Horse-drawn vehicles. This warns that horse-drawn vehicles may be using the road. You must slow down, give them plenty of space, and avoid sudden noise or movements that could frighten the horse. Stop. Children crossing ahead. This sign warns that there may be a school crossing patrol ahead where a person may signal traffic to stop for children. You must be ready to stop immediately when instructed and remain stopped until it is safe to proceed. Lorries prohibited. This sign indicates that large goods vehicles, lorries, are not allowed beyond this point. If you are driving such a vehicle, you must not enter and follow an alternative route. No vehicles laden with inflammable liquids. This sign means that vehicles carrying flammable liquids, such as fuel tankers, are not allowed, usually due to safety risks in tunnels or confined areas. Such vehicles must use an alternative route. Buses and coaches prohibited. This sign indicates that buses and coaches are not allowed on this road. Drivers of such vehicles must not proceed and find another route. Fog warning. This sign warns that the area is prone to fog, which can severely reduce visibility. You must reduce speed, use appropriate lights, such as fog lights when necessary, and increase following distance. Ice warning. This indicates a high risk of ice forming on the road, especially in cold conditions. You must drive very cautiously, reduce speed, and avoid sudden braking or steering movements. Snowdrifts may exist. This sign warns that strong winds may cause snow to accumulate in deep drifts across the road, even if surrounding areas appear clear. Snowdrifts can block parts of the road, reduce traction, and make steering unpredictable. You must reduce your speed significantly, keep a safe distance from other vehicles, and be prepared for sudden changes in road conditions. Right-hand lane closed. This sign indicates that the right lane ahead is closed, often due to roadworks or an incident. You must merge safely into the remaining open lanes in good time, avoiding abrupt lane changes. Tourist route. This sign marks a designated scenic or recommended route for tourists. Drivers may follow these signs to reach points of interest, but should remain attentive to normal traffic rules. Picnic area. This sign indicates a designated area where you can stop for rest and picnics. If you choose to stop, exit the road safely and park in the designated area. Camping and caravan site. This sign shows the direction to a camping or caravan site. Drivers towing caravans or seeking accommodation may follow the sign, ensuring safe turning and lane positioning. You've now gone through a full guide to the most important UK road signs every driver should know. Understanding these signs is key to passing your driving test and staying safe on the road. If you found this guide helpful, don't forget to like the video, subscribe, and turn on notifications for more UK driving tips, road sign explanations, and theory test preparation. Keep learning, stay alert, and good luck with your driving test.